Chapter 376, Dan Emperor's Choice. The four Kangxia people opened their eyes, and as they gazed, they were shocked. What place is this? Kangxia was a little puzzled, looking around, carefully and cautiously checking his surroundings. In the gloomy world, there was only a road that could not be seen to the end, and they were currently standing at one end of the road, surrounded by darkness and eeriness, unable to see anything clearly. Is this the immortal mansion? Why do I feel like I've come to hell? Zijin's eyes widened as he looked around, and he steeply felt a cold chill on his back. The eerie aura of this place was not much worse than Mount Fendu. It was simply a ghostly land. Look guys, there's a stone tablet here. Suddenly, Zhao Linga exclaimed. Kangxia and the others' hearts condensed, secretly saying, worthy of being a grave robber to spot the key point so quickly. Only to see Zhao Linga's side, there was a one-person-sized stone monument erected, on which were carved some fonts. Once you enter the Yellow Springs, it's hard to return, junior brat. This is the Yellow Springs Road. It was refined by this immortal with a yin vein plus thousands of wrong souls. Those who have weak wills, do not step on it. Bear in mind that... Breaking Dawn scattered immortals. Yellow Spring Road. Kangxia's for people's hearts condensed. Just listening to the name, they knew the horror of this place. It seems that this is the first test that Broken Dawn scattered immortal gave them, and the test is still the will. Will is different from strength. Some people, even if the cultivation is strong, the will is not necessarily strong. Will depends on the nature of the heart, as well as the formation and training. Kangxia since childhood suffered from others' ridicule, has long exercised a strong will. After sealing the spirit space, the battlefield countless killings, will is incomparable strong. Yellow Springs Road, I, Kangxia, have learnt. Battle intent boiled in Kangxia's eyes. In his mind, Emperor Dan smiled and said, kid, finally entering the immortal mansion. This first test of will is not very difficult for you, but you can't be careless. Kangxia nodded. At this time, the three little girls were also ready, and they were also confident in their will. Little Gold didn't need to be mentioned. It had followed Kangxia since it was young, and had experienced countless great battles along the way, and its will was top-notch amongst the great rounds of the outbreeding stage. Fandin was a disciple of the 10,000 Buddhist sect, and the most important thing for the 10,000 Buddhist sect was to cultivate the heart. There was already above that of other sect disciples at the same level, so he wasn't worried either. As for Zhao Linga, this girl had started digging up people's ancestral graves since she was young and often met zombies. What horrible things hadn't she experienced? Her will was naturally not weak. The four of them got ready and began to advance along the Yellow Spring Road. The gloomy road was filled with a morose and terrifying aura, and there was a dark black mist around them that blocked their vision, making it impossible for them to see clearly into the distance. My divine thoughts are actually blocked. Kangxia was suddenly shocked. He turned his head to look at the three little girls and saw that they were also frowning at the moment, clearly in the same situation as himself. Not being able to use your divine thoughts is rather the same as the misty star sea. Kangxia's eyes gazed up, vigilantly surveying the surroundings. Kid, don't look behind you. Suddenly, Dan Huang's reminder came from his mind. Yet the more Dan Huang said so, the more Kangxia couldn't help but turn his head to look behind him. Boom! Instantly, Kangxia felt a roar in his mind, and his entire face paled in fear, only to see that the originally dark space behind him was now presenting a cultivated hell, with countless corpses and bones piled up as high as a mountain, undulating in a sea of blood. Even though Kangxia's will was strong, he couldn't help but be startled. The thick bloody scent came over his face, causing Kangxia to frown tightly and immediately turn his head, no longer looking back. Kid, this path can only go forward, not backward. Go. Emperor Dan said gruffly. Kang Xia nodded, then looked at the three little ghouls beside him. Realizing that the three of them were all advancing carefully and not looking behind them, he was relieved. The dimly lit Yellow Springs Road was quiet and silent. The four Kang Xia people closed their breaths, not daring to speak loudly, and carefully advanced. Right at this moment, a sudden eerie hissing roar came, causing the four Kang Xian's bodies to tremble. In the next moment, Kang Xia realized that the scenery in front of him had changed. The original Yellow Springs Road had long since disappeared, but it had instantly changed to another place. Xia single quotes a ... In the sky above the imperial capital, blood was spilled. Wang Tianxiong's face was full of despair, covered in blood. Behind him, Li Yuanba laughed coldly and maniacally. Kang Xia, that little brute has already died in the battlefield of righteousness and evil. You go and accompany him too. Ha ha. Saying that, he killed him with a spear. The spear ripped through the void and pierced through Wang Tianxiong's back, nailing him to the wide streets of the imperial capital with a single shot. No. Kang Xian's eyes were suddenly bloodshot. He couldn't help but roar as he blasted his fist at Li Yuanba. When Li Yuanba saw Kang Xia, he surprisingly did not have the slightest fear in his eyes. Instead, he revealed a weird smile as he sneered. Kang Xia, you've come at the right time. Go and bury your grandpa with you. Saying that, he killed with a shot. Kang Xia raised his fist to block, but he was sent flying by Li Yuanba's gun, spraying blood from his mouth. Kid, this is an illusion. Stop it quickly. The Emperor Don's yell came from his mind. But Kang Xia had already gone crazy at this moment. He executed the Overlord Fist and killed Li Yuanba crazily. Kang Xian's eyes were red and full of killing intent as he roared and killed Li Yuanba with his terrifying hegemony fist, striking out a terrifying attack that caused the entire imperial capital to collapse. At this moment, Kang Xia had long forgotten everything. His mind was only killing. Grandfather Wang Tianxiong was his scouts, his last remaining relative, more important than his life. There was nothing more devastating than seeing Wang Tianxiong die tragically in front of him with his own eyes. Kang Xia was completely possessed, with only boundless killing and destroying everything in his heart. Damn it. I knew that this Yellow Springs Road's test of will wasn't so simple. The Dawnbreaker Scattered Immortal has set up an illusion formation here, and it's still a very powerful one, specializing in attacking the weakest point of the mind of the one who breaks into the formation. Emperor Dan didn't know when he came out of the reverse heavenly cauldron and floated on the Yellow Springs Road, anxiously looking at Kang Xian's for people who were caught in the formation. His will was very strong, not much weaker than even the Dawnbreaker Scattered Immortals. So naturally, he would not be affected by this illusionary formation. At this moment, in front of his eyes, Kang Xia, Zijin, Fan Din, and Zhao Linga all went crazy and fought with each other. Kang Xia fought 1 against 3, and his Overlord Fist was invincible. But Zijin, Brahma Din, and Zhao Linga were not a dry meal. They were all out-breathing stage great perfection powerhouses. Their strength was very strong, and the three of them joined forces, but also beat Kang Xia to spit out blood frequently. Of course, this was because Kang Xia was possessed and only knew how to instinctively perform the Overlord Fist. He didn't even inspire the Kang Xia hegemony blood combat state. Otherwise he alone would have been able to subdue the 3 Zijin people. Li Yuanba, I want life to be worse than death. Kill, kill, kill. Kang Xian's eyes were bubbling with red light. His entire body was filled with murderous aura as he blasted out with one punch. And Zijin's entire body was blown out, his blood spraying wildly. Kang Xia did not show the slightest bit of mercy. His powerful Overlord Fist attacked again. This time, Brahma Heart also suffered a heavy blow, spurting blood and retreating. Devil Heaven, if you dare to kill my brother, Master Monkey will let your whole family be buried with you. Kill. Immediately after Little Gold was blown away by Kang Xian's punch, he madly rushed over. then directly went berserk and killed Kang Chia. It was hard to imagine that Little Gold's purpose of killing towards Kang Chia was to avenge Kang Chon's death. As a matter of fact, he was affected by the illusion formation and saw Kang Chia being killed by Demon Heaven. So he was overwhelmed by anger, and in his eyes, Kang Chia was Demon Heaven. Not good. This monkey went berserk. Emperor Dan, who was anxiously at the side, his face became even more unsightly. Originally, Little Gold was not strong enough to withstand Kang Chia, but after going berserk, his strength doubled, and under the execution of the fighting fist of victory, he was actually able to fight hard against Kang Chia. At this time, Kang Chia fought 1 against 3, and immediately felt the pressure, and was hit hard by Little Gold in succession, his purple blood spurting wildly. "Senior, you guys killed Master Teacher. I want you all to die." "Kill!" Brahma Heart roared angrily as he rushed towards Kang Chia, completely using a desperate move to fight Kang Chia to the death. In his eyes, Kang Chia was the demonic Tao powerhouse who had killed him being his master, and he wanted to take revenge. He had been raised by his master since he was young, and his master was his father, very important to him.